Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Chelsea Fan Corner. Yeah, this is the Chelsea Fans Corner where we talk all things Chelsea. And in today's show, we want to do a quick recap on the Chelsea versus Liverpool match, and this is going to be a tactical analysis. And I would like to use it in a key, like some key events in this particular match, where we just talk about things that played out and how we actually affected this game going forward. Yeah, so let's just talk about it. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been a pleasure serving you guys. And please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do that, because that's what keeps us going. So the match, let me just talk about the match before we go into these key events. The match was good performance in my viewpoint. In the first half, we were up there, we were creating chances, we were trying to get goals. We got a goal in the first half. Liverpool also had their own chance too. And in the second half, though they didn't create so much of chances in the first half, in the second half, I think coming into the first 15 minutes of the second half, we dropped in performance. Yeah, there were mistakes here and there. Our head we begin to lose our focus. We were kind of like relaxed, and Liverpool got into the game that they got their one goal. And afterwards, it was back and forth until the introduction of Romeo Lavia and the three guys in the front. And 5 minutes after that period, because it was more like I watched and I calculated it, like 5 minutes after that period, then we begin to get our balance back, and we just went knocking, and Liverpool got their own too. But at the end, we were the one that Chelsea was the one who the door was opened for, and we got the late winner by the wonderful guy Estavio. And so let's go into this key event. And I think, okay, let me say, in the tactical view, how is it that we won this particular match? I would like to put it in one term, and I would say it is creation of space. Yeah, we manufactured space in this match. And we used it effectively. So I want to break this. How did we manufacture this space? I want to break it into three different parts. The first thing I have here is rotation. Yeah, we use rotation very well. The second thing is the advantage of a ball playing center back. And the third thing is having two central midfielders. Yeah, so as I will be talking about this event, I'll display the image, and you will see, and I will analyze it, and then you will see how these three things show up in one picture and how they affect the game. So the first one I would like to talk about is it happened in the 5th minute. Yeah. So if you are seeing the image here, you will see how Liverpool are lined up at their back and lined up in the front. It was more like there was only one man in the midfield. So it was like, I can say 6-1-3, if I'm allowed to say that, or let's put it as 6-4. And I think it was not like they wanted it to be a 6-4, but the way Chelsea rotated players and at the same time still kept the positional discipline made them form this shape. And what am I speaking about? So if you look at this image, you will see something very unusual. You're going to see Garnacho in the central midfield space. Yeah, more like a central attacking midfielder space where Enzo Fernandez is supposed to be. And you find Enzo Fernandez in the left wing where Garnacho was supposed to be. And that's just in the Chelsea part. And why do I say earlier, I said Chelsea was the one that caused Liverpool to be on a 6 at the back. And now, how am I going to prove that from this picture? You're looking at the 6 at the back. You're looking at these two guys down the left-hand side here is Gravenberch and Bradley. Gravenberch is not supposed to be in this area, but the initial progression that led to this particular image was Gravenberch tracking Enzo Fernandez. So he like, okay, I want to mark my own man, because Enzo Fernandez, according to the formation on paper, was the guy who was the attacking midfielder. So as the defensive midfielder who Gravenberch was, he had to track the attacking midfielder. So he tracked him into the left-hand side. And you see, because Garnacho now has moved into that space where Enzo Fernandez left, Bradley has tracked him to that space. So it was more like they were more like in a confused state at this point in time. And the most interesting one here is I spoke about having two central midfielder, and the two central midfielder in this particular match is Enzo Fernandez and Malo Gusto. Though Enzo Fernandez played more like a central attacking midfielder, CAM, while Malo Gusto played more like a CM, a central midfielder. But the beautiful one here is Malo Gusto, him being that guy who, after Chelsea has tried and dragged them back and create space between their defensive line and their attacking line, is that guy who wants to run to exploit that particular space. And he did it effectively, though he didn't produce anything out of it because he couldn't control the ball. But you would see there that the ball here is with Badiashile, who still adds to the third factor of manufacturing space here, being the ball playing center back. Because we have a ball playing center back who is comfortable in taking those line breaking passes and taking those long balls, we have one of our central midfielder who can run into those space and get the ball. So in this picture here, it's just Chelsea trying to create space out of nothing. We're just trying to use all of these three factors, maintaining the positional discipline, but still yet making the player fluidity being intact. Enzo Fernandez switching space with Garnacho, Malo Gusto running out from the midfield into the attacking line, and you're having a ball playing center back who can make those passes, who can throw those passes. And because of the freedom for this central midfielder, Malo Gusto could run into that space and get the ball. He actually just tried to control the ball, but he didn't go his way. So I think, and if you look at the first goal also, this is almost like a similar picture of what happened. And I think this is just one of those things that affected this game in a very positive manner. Yeah. And let's talk about the first goal. So I'm going to display another picture and you see the image for the first goal. I'm going to do two pictures. I'll speak about one particular one, then I'll show you how one person's movement created a whole lot of space that was exploited in this particular match. So this is the picture here for the first goal. And on the ball here, we have Badiashile holding the ball in the defensive phase. We are actually on a high line here, playing the ball. Liverpool is sitting on a 4-3-3 here. And one beautiful movement that started the whole engineering of this ball was Enzo Fernandez movement. And I would like you to see Enzo Fernandez movement here. Him walking forward, coming out of his actual position and dragging Gravenberch out of the central space. After he has dragged, like in the process of dragging Gravenberch out of the central space, what's his name? I said understanding space, understanding how to exploit space, is running into that space. And the third movement here is Malo Gusto seeing that Caicedo has run into the space created by Enzo Fernandez. He is coming deep, and coming deep means he's going to attract his marker, McAllister there. So he attracts McAllister, and we having a ball playing center back just means he can play a third man pass. Give the pass to, what's his name? Give the pass to Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto drops the pass for Moses Caicedo, and he just used up all the space that is available there, and it took a very, very brilliant and fantastic shot. With that shot was the one that put Chelsea 1-0 up in the 13th minute of the game, or let's just round it up to the 14th minute of the game. So I think it just combines the three factors that I said together. Like, we manufactured space by rotation, by having a ball playing center back, and freedom for our central midfielder. Enzo Fernandez dragging Gravenberch out of that space, Moises Caicedo exploiting the space that Enzo Fernandez has created, and Malo Gusto running deep to occupy the space that Caicedo has left, and the ball playing centre back just doing a third man pass to get the ball to Moises Caicedo, who is the intended person for him to give the ball. So I just think these guys, they did the job very well, and it was very, very beautiful. So let me pop in the second image. Like the second image shows, it shows how much space Enzo Fernandez created just for the fact that he faked that run to drag Gravenberch out of that space. If Gravenberch didn't buy into that bait, we would have recycled the ball, just kicked the ball around. But because he bought into it, let me display the picture. This is the picture. You see how much space that we have in behind Enzo Fernandez, like just for the fact that he could drag Gravenberch out of that space. Look at how much space is created behind that place. And you even find that as the ball progressed, Cucurella ran into that space. But it's just the beauty of having two central midfielder. If it was just one central midfielder, McAllister will cover that space. But because there is Malo Gusto to worry about on the left-hand side also, Enzo Fernandez has dragged Gravenberch out. That space is already open. So, what's his name? McAllister could not come back to that central space because there is somebody to worry about up there. So it just still goes back to the three criteria. We have rotational people running around and still keeping their position, a ball playing centre back in the person of Badiashile, and the freedom for this central midfielder just moving around, dragging people, opening space. And I give kudos to Caicedo throughout the whole match, but for this particular one, being able to understand the space, because it would have been a different thing if Enzo Fernandez dragged Gravenberch out of the central space and Moises Caicedo did not have the intelligence to be able to run into that space to take advantage of the space. And I think when we're talking about tactics is just basically when we talk about tactics during the ball, it's more of space and time. Can you exploit this space? Can you use it with the limited time that you have? And I think if you look at this particular picture again, you'll see how much space. And if you get that amount of space, you can just basically calculate how much time the player will have to do it. And you see, it's just evident in the goal. When he got the ball, look at the movement he took. Look at how much time he had to move and progress to the zone 14. And then he took the beautiful shots and we were just 1-0 up. So I think we actually created space. We actually exploited them. We dragged them out, fake runs, and dragged them out of the central space. The rotation was good. The positional discipline was fine. And the ball playing centre back just crowned it all by creating the third man pass to create this first goal. So let's go into another part here, which I still want to give the credit back to Badiashile. And if you watched my last show that I did about Chelsea's defense and how we could solve it, I spoke about how important Badiashile will be. Badiashile will be to Chelsea if he can stay fit and is always available for us. So you will see one of it here in this image that will pop up here is Badiashile going direct and giving us those long passes, line breaking passes. You will find out because of this pass, we had so much moments where our left winger and our right wingers were isolated with the fullbacks. And I would like to shift to the second, just move out of this particular one that I showed you now, Badiashile going direct with the long ball. I want to show you the results, and the results just shows you how much time and space the direct and long ball Badiashile created for Chelsea. And this is Garnacho and Bradley isolated on the left-hand side, and you're seeing Gravenberch trying to reach to cover space, but you find out, and that's one thing that just leads me back to the Garnacho issue. The Garnacho issue is, I appreciate the work he did in the last match. I appreciate the width that he maintained, that he gave him that 1v1 situation, helped Chelsea widen the field, and we used our angles well. But I'm still not impressed because you cannot have so much time and space in football and not create something out of it. Like I still repeat it. I said this in the what match was that? I said this in the last match that we played. I think that should be a Benfica. Yeah, when I was doing the 5 things. If you have not seen it, you should try and see it. Is you cannot have this amount of 1v1 and not create something about it. It just speaks so bad about the end product of our wingers. And I do not really feel so comfortable about it. If we were not creating this space and they were trying to create it by their own self, this wingers, it would have been a different story if they didn't get a goal or they didn't get an assist. But we creating, you have players, the midfielders, you have the defenders who can find long balls to you guys and give you this amount of time and space. You have to be creating something out of it. You just have to be creating something out of it. And I think it is, I don't want to call it a disrespect, but I just think you will down the morale of the people creating this thing, and they'll get to a point where they just get the down mindset of when we create it, what are they going to do with it? So let's just recycle the ball and just keep it moving like we have always kept it moving. And I feel this is just a message to this guy. They need to step up their game in their end product. So let's just go back to this picture where you see how much time and space this guy had. And this is just one picture in many in this particular match where we use passes to find our wingers and just isolate them with their fullback, and not just with their fullback, with a whole lot of space in behind them, which is just expected of them to take on these players, dribble one, and go into the box to either score goals or create assists. So let me go into another one and just speak specifically about the effect of playing two central midfielder. In the first instance, I almost thought, would this make sense? Because I was thinking, so let me speak about the good side and I'll speak about the downside of playing two central midfielders. The good side of playing two central midfielders is you have the pressing agent. So look at this particular picture that will pop up on your screen now. Is now you are seeing Enzo Fernandez and Malo Gusto standing man to man with Gravenberch and McAllister. And this basically means there is no build up for the opponent. Yes, there's going to be no build up for the opponent. They can't play the ball to them because they are pressed already. Yeah, so that's one of the good side. Another good side is offensively, you have people who can crash the box. Yeah, you have people who can crash the box, and they because you have two of them, one can stay to keep somebody out of the space, to drag somebody out of the space, and because you have another central midfielder, he can run into that space that has been created by the one. And I would like to use another image to show it. And this is in the 90th minute. Yeah, this happened in the 90th minute where we won the ball back and we gave it to Malo Gusto, gave it to Estevao, and Estevao was picking a cross. And this cross, because if you look in the box here, you find Romeo Lavia in the box here, and Romeo Lavia is the guy who came in to take the part of Malo Gusto, because Malo Gusto went back to right back and Rich James went to centre back. So you have one of our centre midfielder in the box already, and you know somebody's going to definitely pick him up. But you are looking on the far left here, you are seeing Szoboszlai and you are seeing Enzo Fernandez on the far left there. Now, what happened in this place is where Enzo Fernandez went on to head the ball and he went to eat the bar. But the most important detail to pick here is he's standing on the blind side of Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai should have picked him out if he was the winger. But you will find out Szoboszlai was kind of like using a side eye to check. But the only person he could see here would be Jamie Gittins, because that's his man. Yes, that's basically the reality of what it is. Jamie Gittins is his man. So he's using his side eyes to check, okay, my man is still here, not knowing that we had a box crasher already in the person of Enzo Fernandez. If you go on to watch maybe highlight or go and watch this particular moment, you'll find that he was very surprised to see Enzo Fernandez just come out of nowhere and not and head the ball, and the ball just is fortunately for him, the ball just hit the bar and went out, and even the keeper was they were caught on surprise. And I think these are just one of the advantages of having two central midfielders in your play. Offensively, it gives you numbers up front. Defensively, you can press and block the build-up of the opponent, and they do not have anything to do there. So you have the creative ability and you also have the defensive ability. So one of the downside, and I think Liverpool did not really exploit that until Florian Wirtz came into the ball, was if they get beaten when they press high up there because they are central midfielders. So let me go back to this old picture, this old image that I use here, and you see how close they are. So you have Liverpool 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, and we have Chelsea 1, 2, 3, 4. We are forming like a box, and they spreading out. So they have two players, one in Keke's far on the left side and left side of the pitch, and Bradley on the right side of the pitch. These guys are free guys. So if Garnacho goes on to press the goalkeeper, if you have a goalkeeper who is very good on the ball, can just send the pass to Bradley or send the pass to Kekes, and that press has been broken. Just straightforward like that. Or find one attacking midfielder who can drop deep, or the striker who can drop deep and just get the ball from there. And we are already -4. Just with one pass. So I think this is one of the downside of having two central midfielder. But the advantage for us is these two guys who played this central midfield role in the person of Enzo Fernandez and Malo Gusto are engines. This guy, I don't know, maybe aside Caicedo and Cucurella, these are the other two engines that we have in this field that they can keep going up and down for 90 minutes and they will still keep on going like they have just started. Yeah, so I think those are one of the advantages. So even if they get beaten like by just one line breaking pass or just one long ball, they can quickly get back to our own half and join the defensive phase of the pitch and just join the defensive work, and we'll get the ball back or try and force the opponent back into their own half. And I think those are one of the good parts of having two central midfielder in the person. Let's just use that personality, that profile of Enzo Fernandez and Malo Gusto. Yeah. So and this just sums up the whole thing. Liverpool tried their best. One of the things that I saw in that particular match was the introduction of Florian Wirtz and Curtis Jones. The introduction of Florian Wirtz, most especially because we pressed high with two central midfielder. The space between our middle phase and our defensive phase was very, very large. The space was big and wide. So Florian Wirtz, being a personality who can operate in the space, who can operate in the pocket effectively, got passes where he just turned around quickly, and just find one or two link-up play. And you see when he came in, the attack kind of like looked fluid. It wasn't that stiff compared to when Szoboszlai was the guy there or when McAllister was the guy there. So with Florian Wirtz, if they can break that press and you have somebody who is dangerous in the attack, they will definitely hurt us with that. But we just know it didn't go that way, and we can also work on that and find a way to bring a balance to this thing. So maybe we'll try not to press so aggressively, or just try and make it kind of like zonal and allow something or one particular event trigger the press before we go for it. So and one last thing I would say is the brilliance of Moises Caicedo and the introduction of Jamie Gittins and Estavio. Like the two of them they brought light into the match. They moved really. Like their move was very electric. Like they showed that sign like, okay, we are new, our legs are still fresh, we have something to offer in this match, and they just went boom, 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 and eventually we knocked, and Liverpool opened at one point, and we got our second goal. And the introduction of Romeo Lavia just brought some kind of easy build up play for Chelsea. And it was just beautiful. It's not something I want to see all the time, because there are downsides to the amount of that kind of players that we have in the back line, where we had Rhys James, we had Malogusto, we had Moises Caicedo in the midfield, we have Romeo Lavia, we had Enzo Fernandez. These are guys who are comfortable playing the ball. So you find out from the 70th minute or there in the 75 minutes thereabout, going into the 90 minutes, we built up very, very easily, because the person who is going to pass the ball and the person who is going to receive the ball are comfortable with the ball. And I'm talking about Rhys James passing the ball to Malogusto giving the ball to Moises Caicedo finding Romeo Lavia finding Enzo Fernandez. You're looking at all of these guys that I just called now, and these are people who are comfortable playing the ball. So if you have profiles like that to build up, which is not the ideal, it's not supposed to be the ideal situation, because think about the defensive part of it. And you're looking at Romeo Lavia in the defense, you're looking at Rhys James in the defense. They are good defensively, but aerially, those are not the people you want to find in your defense. You need tall, macho guys in the likes of Badiashile, Achimpong, and all of these people. But the ball playing side of having these guys in the build-up just helped us build up very easily. And I think it was part of the thing that led to the second goal, where we moved from Rhys James to Malogusto finding Caicedo with the one pass to Romeo Lavia with the one pass to Enzo Fernandez moving it forward to Jamie Gittins, getting it back and trying to manipulate space. Cucurella was already up there, dropping the pass, and Cucurella finding Estevao on the right hand side, who was standing on the blind side of Robertson, and we just got the goal. And I think it was a very brilliant match for us, yeah. And not just about this particular match. If we can keep up with all of these rotations, we have our ball playing central centre back, and we can have freedom for the profile of Enzo Fernandez and Malogusto roaming around, playing as a central attacking midfielder and a central midfielder. I think we can, when we meet against teams of our own level, who are not going to sit back, if we use this kind of tactics, it's going to work for us. And note it, if you watch my preview, if you watch my 5 things we learned show that I did, where we played Bayern Munich, I think this tactics is something I have seen before. Yeah, I saw it in that Bayern Munich match, where they had 2 profiles in the person of Harry Kane and Gnabry, who were the floaters, who were coming in to overload in the build-up and coming and also joining in the offensive duty. And I think it's something similar. That's one thing I like about Enzo Maresca is dynamic. Like, you just come into a match and you know you are going to see something new. So that just leads me into talking about something new. And there are other things that are new that I saw in the match, and I know you all would have seen it too, is the Chelsea beginning to have set piece routine. Yeah. And I think he almost worked out, because if you look at that combination from in the first half, from Cucurella to Pedro Neto to Malogusto giving it back to Cucurella, Rhys James dragging Mo Salah out of the space, and Cucurella just dropping the pass for Garnacho, and Garnacho just playing and trying to place the ball. And that ball was not perfectly whipped, because if it was perfectly whipped, we were going to find it at the back of the net. But you just know, if we can get this kind of routines right, at least we have had another, we have had another ammunition to our bag. Yeah. So you can use this again, you can use these tactics again, you can use this routine again to cause damage to the opponent. Yeah. So there are a whole lot of things that happen in the match that are new things. And another one which I feel like I should just make another video about, but let me just speak briefly about it, is Enzo Fernandez dropping deep to take up the back 3 role, why Marc Cucurella goes to take up Enzo Fernandez role up front. That's why I know, and I know I've spoken about Chelsea being mixed, playing a mixture of direct based football and possession based football. So with Enzo Fernandez, him being able to drop deep and come into the back three, and Cucurella being very comfortable to move forward to take up Enzo Fernandez role up front, it just gives us that comfortability to be able to go direct. So with the passing range and vision of Enzo Fernandez, you can just send pass and break the first line, second line of play and get into the attacking third of the pitch and just get into the defensive phase of the opponent. So I think there's a whole lot of things that showed up in that match tactically. So these are just a few that I saw. And so, guys, I would just, like you always do for us, we are very appreciative of that. Please just drop in the comment section what it is that is new, or what are the things that you saw that we did that helped us to win this particular match against Liverpool. So, guys, thank you very much for sticking with us. This is brought to you by Vertical Football. So please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done that. Till we see you some other time. Thank you.